Hello everybody, my name is Kate Wexell and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I am using my computer's camera again and it is very terrible, but I just had to film this video before these thoughts left my mind. Because today I want to talk to you guys about what is the biggest lesson that I have learned from the college process, and it actually took until today for me to figure that out. So I would like to preface this by saying this is not a video about how to succeed in the college admissions process, but this is more about what you can learn from it. And honestly, what you shouldn't have to learn through the college admissions process, but just through life in general. So I wanted to film this because earlier I watched this absolutely amazing video and it talked about the psychology of motivation. I had clicked on it because it had the clickbait title of why grades are useless or pointless or something like that. Anyway, I'll probably link it. But anyway, I watched this hour-long video and it described how our entire system in school, in the workforce, in all aspects of life is set up through rewards, and how we think that this is going to motivate people to be better workers, to be better students, but actually it does the exact opposite. And all that it does is it creates this reward or thing that you're striving for, and then you will do everything you can to reach that. However, you do only the bare minimum. And it almost creates this barrier to creativity. And so it's the same way in the college admissions process. We try to get good grades, we try to take as many AP classes as possible, we try to do X, Y, and Z to get it off of this checklist of what colleges are looking for. And in the process, we end up losing out on who we actually are. And so a lot of people, sort of to counter this, talk about how top schools really want to see passion, and they want to see that you devoted your whole life to this one specific thing that you really, really care about, or even if you didn't devote your whole life, that it was this huge focus. And nobody actually explains what that means. And so I sort of want to walk you through my journey and figuring out, like, what does that mean for me? What does that mean for everybody else? And the realizations that I've come to. So I want to first of all say that doing a passion project does not mean picking a topic that you're mildly interested in and creating this big nonprofit that you don't actually enjoy any part of its operations, and you're solely doing it to try to get into college. That is the exact opposite of what I'm going to tell you to do, and that is what I thought that you had to do in order to get in. So I'll start off by saying that I was very, very frustrated with the admission cycle last year. In 2022, I was a senior in high school, and I ended up being rejected to a lot of schools. And people in my community were shocked. My parents were shocked by just the quantity of schools that I was rejected to. And while I now understand why I was rejected, and I have made a video about that I have also linked, that doesn't mean that it wasn't still frustrating. Because what I had done in high school was I had no idea how the college admissions process worked, and I just did things because I enjoyed them. My good grades were because I enjoyed school, I wanted to do good work, and I ended up actually not taking as many APs as I could have, not getting as good of grades as I could have, because, well, bad grades that I did get were in science and math classes that I didn't really have an interest in, and I ended up prioritizing things like music that I really cared about, or creative writing, over taking more APs. And I actually ended up dropping an AP class that I maybe could have held on because I dropped it in April and the class only had 1 month left. But I was so concerned about it ruining my GPA that I didn't even bother finishing it out. And then also, as far as my clubs went, they were all very scattered all over the place, and I ended up developing a lot of different skills from being a part of different community organizations and realizing that I have a huge love of community service, but I didn't end up developing them. However, what that did for me was it allowed me to explore so many different facets of life, and I wouldn't have gotten to do that otherwise if I hadn't given myself that space to join the art club and to decide that I wanted to join like the speech and acting team, but it ended up not quite being for me. And you learn all of these valuable things so that I was able to know, okay, I really, really love music. I want to do this. I want to be more involved in scouting because I enjoy the service. I feel like I'm actually contributing something. Oh, I want to do Model UN because this brings me joy and I make a lot of friends by doing it. Because what that ends up doing is I felt more motivated to try harder, to practice my instruments, to create materials for the other students in Model UN since I was the president of that. Like, I wanted to do things and go out of my way to become more involved because those were things that I felt strongly about. And if I didn't feel strongly about them, then I quit them. And so when I started this college transfer process, which I have no idea yet whether the verdict will be successful or not, but I knew from the beginning basically that I wanted to transfer out of my current institution, mostly because I felt like there just wasn't motivation here as well. And what I ended up realizing was, okay, here is the actual checklist that I didn't know about before for how to get into schools. So basically, I need to stress about my classes to make sure that I get a 4.0 GPA each semester of my freshman year. I need to found a club. I need to be in leadership positions in all of the clubs that I'm in, and I need to have that solidified by the end of my first semester. So that is exactly what I have done. And let me tell you, just because you do that, that doesn't mean that you're fulfilled. What it's ended up doing actually is in the process, I have not really had a great opportunity to make friends at this institution. It has entirely stressed me out, and I ended up actually realizing that the major that I chose is not what I actually want to do. So I am now on the executive board of multiple clubs that are related to my former major and not actually related to my current one. And so it ends up just being almost a waste of my time each week to be going to those executive board meetings, but I did it because I thought that it was the right thing to do for this process. And so this can also be demonstrated through classes that I've taken as well. This semester I was better about it. However, you think that you need to take all of these difficult classes or classes that fulfill certain area requirements and show that you're a well-rounded student instead of just taking classes that you actually want to because it looks better. And what ends up happening is you feel less motivated to complete those tasks. You just feel stressed about trying to get the homework done. You feel burdened by the idea of you have to achieve a certain grade, even though the grading systems are different in every single class, and you focus less on the actual learning of that subject. And so what I want to say instead is that college is a reward, but it isn't equivalent to happiness, and it's instead just another choice that you make in life. So this is me saying this as somebody who is currently trying to transfer additionally because I want to switch majors and the program for my major here isn't super great, and I realized if I stay here then my outcome will be probably making about $40,000 a year, whereas if I went to a better institution for that program, I have the potential of making $100,000 a year straight out of college. And you would think, wow, that is a really great option. However, really what it's about is more just that you can succeed wherever you're at, and it's more about the motivation that you're willing to put in. And certainly different institutions can elevate that and give you more opportunities for success. However, something that the video about motivation said is that once you have met that benchmark of having necessities, like having obviously the $40,000 a year job would not be great if I wanted to support myself, if I wanted to support a family long term and be able to have social mobility. However, once you reach a certain point where all of your needs are met, just increasing the amount in your salary by like $20,000 isn't going to do anything. You don't feel any more motivated to do a job, and really what it's actually supposed to be about is you go to college to learn about the things that you genuinely want to do, and then you find a way to do a job that you enjoy and that you feel passionate about. And then the other thing that I learned, and I learned this through sort of a roundabout way, but I found that there were a couple of things that I felt very, very strongly about. Previously, I had thought that it was music, I thought it was creative writing, and I still really enjoy those things, but as hobbies. But the the three things that I have felt most strongly about just from being here at the school is I joined a program about international development and started a project to alleviate period poverty. And I found myself feeling so excited about that. I didn't have to do that. I didn't receive any class credit for it. There was no stress or anything about that. And most people don't even end up implementing their projects. It was more just like a learning experience. But I really, really enjoyed that. And now I'm trying to perpetuate that. And I actually ended up taking my former passion project that I had really only created to try to help me with the college admissions process and incorporated that into that. And I actually filed that website as a nonprofit this week in order to help me further that project. And I figured out how to incorporate things that I actually enjoy into that larger passion project. And then the other thing was I had started a job at the beginning of this year, and it was mostly at first just to make money, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll have to do this. But part of it is you have the opportunity to start a branch of this national organization on your college campus. And I was thinking, okay, I seriously have no more time whatsoever to be starting a new club. However, I ended up just saying, to hell with it, I'll do it. And now that I have started this club, just looking at trying to develop meetings and curriculums at different meetings, it is super, super exciting. And I have no idea if any of this is going to help me with the college process or not. However, I do know that it is more oriented towards what I want to do in the future, because all of these things revolve around sustainability. All of these have leadership components. All of these will be doing lobbying. We'll be looking at policy, we'll be looking at fundraising methods, and they're all skills that I will actually learn, and they're teaching me about who I am, who I want to become, and what I want to contribute to the world. And more importantly, they are actually giving me a sense of purpose. And so that is what your passion project should be. It should be about discovery. It should not be you saying, I am going to sit down and do this thing because it will help me be accepted into college. It should be in spite of the college process. And when you're going through that process, it should seriously just be you reflecting on what has everything meant to me? What have I done for the sake of doing it? What have I done because this is who I am? And if you're not doing things because that's genuinely what you want to do, and it's just going to be something that you quit the second that you start college, then you're not doing the right things. So, yeah, overall, college can be a reward, or it can feel like a reward, but honestly, thinking about it, I know that there's a good possibility that I would be happier at another institution. I know for a fact that it would help me with opportunities. However, that does not define my success. And that's something that I feel like people don't talk about enough, is that money does not define your success. And I'm not talking about in a superficial way of like, oh, I should be an artist or a writer and I should just drop out of college entirely to follow my dreams that are never going to happen. That's not what I mean. You still need to have a livable wage. However, success is more about what actually makes you feel like you have purpose. Success is, for me, how many people can I help? How many people can I support? How do I actually interact with the world around me? Am I creating a net good? And so for me, if I am actually pursuing what I'm passionate about, that means that I am pursuing things that will better the world around me. And I am working to scale those things so that it can create the most positive impact. And that could be through my job. That could be through the resources that I have in universities. That could be me just using those resources like a university just to find more opportunities to do that. However, the whole point is about what gives you purpose, because you are never going to grow, you are never going to contribute creativity, you are never going to have motivation to do things unless you are doing them for the right reasons, and anything else is just a waste of your time. Anyway, that is my 2 cents. If you agree with me, or if you have any comments, then please leave them down below in the comments section. I hope that you enjoyed this video. This was a little bit on the deeper side. However, that's probably the biggest lesson that I've learned from this process, and I just felt like I really needed to share that with everybody. So I hope you have a great day.